Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it's the weekend, so as normal is for this channel is a movie review time, and obviously the title it's the Batman movie. I know people are wondering, like, there hasn't been a recent Batman movie out this year. No, there has not. So My Cineworld recently are showing quite a few older movies. It seems to be a Batman trend, and they had the original 1989 Batman film on it. So Michael Keaton, Tim Burton version, and my mate was going to see it, and he said, "Did I want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen this. I've just come back from holiday, so I haven't seen anything this week." So that was the movie we went to see. Now, I haven't seen this movie for like 20 odd years, so it was nice to kind of see it with fresh eyes. Obviously, as I said, it was out in 1989, so the film is 34 years old, which is quite a long time, but it's good to see a film to see, does it hold up to it. So, anybody who doesn't know, who has never seen this, obviously this is Tim Burton's version of Batman. This is a very early story of Batman, him trying to fight crime. Specifically, part of the organisation is there is a gangster called Jack Napier, and he then becomes the Joker, and it's kind of these two battling off against each other with other characters and other elements mixed in there. The usual Bruce Wayne family being killed, and if there's a connection and stuff. Not much to give away. I said it's that old, so you would have seen it. So we'll get straight into. I'll put spoiler reviews anyway. I just really like it, surprisingly enough, or not surprisingly because I do like films. But yeah, it was really refreshing to see. Now, this film was obviously done by Tim Burton, and people who know Tim Burton's work from Nightmare Before Christmas. The kind of scenery and the background have elements that I think match with Tim Burton's feel, but apart from that, I don't think this really feels like a Tim Burton film as such. Not saying that's a bad thing, not saying that's a good thing, but it's just not his traditional style complete throughout all of it. As it starts off, you have obviously some gangsters ripping off a couple, nicking the wallet. Then Batman shows up and basically he's like, "Yeah, tell your friends I'm Batman," and then you find that there's obviously corruption and stuff there, and then obviously it's about a journalist called Knox and Vicky Vale, who's a photographer, and them trying to find out what is this Batman real, because everybody believes it's a hoax and stuff like this. And it's him fighting, and obviously he is real. He's fighting crime. We know he's Bruce Wayne because we've all seen and know the story to death. Vicky Vale does become involved with Bruce Wayne. Obviously, he tries to hide this side of him. And obviously Jake Napier is part of the organisation, unfortunately gets stitched up by his boss. And then as he's confronted by Batman, he falls in the vat, and it becomes a Joker, and the Joker then terrorises people up until the point there's the penultimate fight. And it would go almost kind of the way you would imagine a superhero movie to go. Now, I say this is kind of almost different. Now, I always saw this as kind of a very late 80s, early 90s bubbly sort of movies, because maybe I was remembering the older versions, and this had actually a lot going on it. So for one, I'll see Billy D. Williams. He is Harvey Dent. Really like his casting. He had a contract to play Two-Face as it goes on, and then they took him out for number 3, which I think is a bit of a shame. I haven't rewatched 2, Batman Returns, so it'd be interesting to see how active he is in that one. But I thought he was really good as the government. It was good to have a Gordon who wasn't really related to Batman. There was a lot of the scenes and settings. So the Batcave of when he rescues Vicky Vale and comes into the Batcave, it is kind of like a hole in a cave and a platform for his car. It doesn't rotate or anything, and then there's some stairs. And it was a lot of elements like this that I really, really liked. It was a lot more kind of realistic. Like Batman's gadgets, he doesn't have very many. They are quite big and bulky depending on what they're doing, except for his kind of one zip line that he holds Vicky on, which kind of doesn't work a little bit, and that's shown. I really like that side of it. It was very, the premise, scares people a little bit, and he can get these big devices out and use them. Uses them once, and then that's obviously it's laid to waste. Like the car is awesome in design and stuff. The one element, or there was a few elements that threw me a little bit off in between this movie, and I'm sure people have seen it. So one, in the very beginning, he keeps doing this kind of bat phase like this with his wings, and he does it twice and then gets shot in the chest, and I thought that was very bit silly. I don't know if it's trying to do an iconic image or something from the comics, because I don't remember that, but I see that just threw me off a little bit at the beginning. Obviously, Michael Keaton's performance as Bruce Wayne and Batman, I really loved. Obviously, the suit is what it is. It's a very old day suit. He did very well doing all the scenes. I really liked him as Bruce Wayne, and I think it's the actor who plays Alfred. I cannot remember his name. He was very beginning. Obviously, he signs like a check for someone, and he doesn't know where to put it, and he puts it in like this kind of tree. And Alfred gets it. Goes to put a drink on like a poker table, and Alfred. And there was stuff like that that just showed like the eccentric side of Bruce Wayne, of how he, oh, I've got a pen. He most of us, oh, that's a free pen. He's like, nah, stick it wherever. And there were little moments like that I felt really helped build the Bruce Wayne character. Now I think Alfred was a brilliant cast. I think, in my eyes, he's probably the best version of Alfred. That's in my eyes. Just because I think he's a very more realistic old man butler. I know he does patch stuff up, but he kind of seems like he's been through the wars and stuff like this. Yeah, obviously Michael Keaton did really good as Batman. Loved Jack Nicholson as the Joker, because he is so erratic, and I think Jack Nicholson has gone on record saying that this was one of his favourite roles because he could just be as zany. And there was stuff like that. There were like some jokes like "Don't stroke another man's rhubarb," which is obviously an innuendo. A lot of kids would not have got that, and I thought that was very funny. Also, it was like, yeah, there's stuff like this, there's people getting shot but you don't see blood, and it's a 12A, because the people bringing young kids into this, which surprised me a little bit. Maybe they love Batman, but don't know how. But I say there are elements in this that maybe aren't that great. A few other little bits, time seemed to skip quite quickly between days. So when Jack Napier falls in the vat, it's like the next day he's recovered from surgery. And I was like, well, that realistically wouldn't happen. But I think it's just, the story continuation is perfect. It sits, everything happens as it should do, but it seems that all of this story has happened in like a 2-week period almost, but it probably could be months. They mentioned in the very beginning there's going to be some sort of bash, which is where the Joker has his balloons and stuff. I can't remember the time frame that is mentioned in that, but that's what we have at the continuation story. But I said, really good, like the graphics, like the model, like some of it you can tell like it's models and stuff like this, but when the Batwing goes up over the moon, there's little stuff like that, iconic stuff of Batman, that worked really well. I like the fact he wasn't as connected to a lot of the people as well, and we got to learn a very Tim Burton style to the harsh environment with the type of actors and actresses that he's chosen actually works really well. They're not high-tech world matched exactly what you would expect Batman to kind of be, and I say in stuff in the caves and stuff like that, or there's like a platform here for his screens and his computer and stuff, and like he has a massive vault where he keeps the Batsuit. That's realistic. He wouldn't have in those days a very high-tech prison or like a Perspex cylinder where he keeps his suit, because if somebody broke in they could get it. And it was bits like that I thought were really well done. And I must admit, as I say, for a film that's old, I'm going to rate this 8 out of 10. I mean, not only is it a good film, well acted, just all the elements come together really well. But just it holds up over time, and it might be a little bit of nostalgia, but I still think it's a really good film. The cinema was almost packed, and I didn't hear anyone going, "Oh, that was rubbish," or anything. That still enjoyed it, and you had people that had young kids in there and really old adults. So it's good to see that this can appeal to all ranges, and I'm sure that's by the age rating and probably how it was shot. I say the only bits why I don't rate it longer is, I say, there's a few elements where he's sticking the cape, but the time frame said isn't quite accurate enough, and I know there are scenes that were cut in that, so maybe and Tim Burton, I think there were pressures on him from the studio or other elements that meant the story could have been a little bit more better. Also, the fact of you have Batman is actually, he killed quite a few people in this. They don't necessarily mention it. He throws a bloke down a bell tower. He definitely died. Joker, he kills him, but inadvertently kills him. So I don't know if he could really kill that. his Batcar goes into Axis Chemicals, which I'm not sure why, it's always Ace Chemicals as I always thought it. I'm not sure what the username Axis. If you do know, please let me know in the comments below. But his car dropped bombs, basically, drives out, and there's people standing around it. I'm like, all those henchmen died. You know, he has guns in his car, he has guns in his plane that shoot missiles, and he's trying to kill the Joker. I was like, this kind of more realistic version of him never killing anyone, I think actually works. But you know, the fact that he is Batman, he's trying to stop criminals, and that unfortunately some people will die. It's just, you know, him doing what him doing. There are accidents. Exactly the word is, it's an accident. It doesn't necessarily mean people who's trying to help them. And there was even a funny bits in the bell tower where some bloke tries to jump up on him and goes through the floorboards. It had a lot of different elements and it worked really well, which I don't think is quite to Tim Burton's usual stuff. But yeah, love this movie. Really love seeing it in the cinema. I'm glad I actually got to see it, because obviously I was only 7 at the time, or maybe even 6 when this movie came out, so I wouldn't have been able to watch it in the movies. I've been Cypher Sigma. Hope you enjoyed this movie review of the Batman 1989 movie with Tim Burton. Hope you enjoyed the channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that you want to do. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.